Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sree Iyer. Joining me today is Sriram 𝗤𝗍𝗫. We have a lot of developing events from Tamil Nadu as well as the Supreme Court judgment on governor holding on to bills as well as one other important topic. Let's welcome Sriram 𝗤𝗍𝗫. Sriramji, Namaskar and welcome to PGurus channel. How are you, sir?
Sir, Namaskaram. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well, sir. It's a hectic week. Last week we missed out, but glad to have you back today, sir. Sriramji, tell us a little bit about what is going on, because what I looked at on the stage, Annamalai didn't look very happy at the turn of events. I'll start from there because everybody's mind is in. So is there an injustice being done to this person, or is there something else that he is cut out for bigger things, that he may have a bigger role to play in the politics of India?
Namaskaram to PGuru viewers. Some of the PGurus viewers and others may not like if I say that Annamalai is not done, no injustice is done to Annamalai, right? Because of their love and affection for him. In my humble opinion, Sree Iyerji, I think this is the need of the hour. While Annamalai definitely created a ripple effect in Tamil Nadu about the party, the reality is Annamalai probably didn't want any alliance other than the alliance that he forms under his leadership, which probably is not the same opinion the center has about Tamil Nadu BJP, and rightly so. Several analysts who have pointed this out to the central leadership at different point in times post 2024 as to what is the strategy that needs to be adopted by BJP in Tamil Nadu. There are two options available, or three scenarios in front of BJP. Number one, the only aim of BJP is to grow the party in Tamil Nadu, come what may. We don't give a damn about anything else, but party should grow for a next 5 years, 10 years strategy. The second option is, I think we talked about it in a show a couple of weeks back also. What is that? Because there is a third term in anti-incumbency factor will kick in 2029 for Modi, and he needs Modi and Amit Shah and party needs a cushioning factor from the south, where Tamil Nadu has been sending 40 MPs to the opposition bench. So they need some cushion from, the south, including Andhra, Telangana. Odisha, of course, is, considered to be in the south, half north, Karnataka and Kerala, where Tamil Nadu is the only sore thumb sticking out that, it is not even sending. Kerala, of course, has sent at least one MP this time. Suresh Gopi. And in 2014, Tamil Nadu did send one MP, but otherwise, in 19 also there was an NDA, there was one from Pondicherry, there was one because of after poll alliance, etc. But the question is, South needs to cushion some of the losses they may suffer or they may recover from UP, Maharashtra and Rajasthan in 2029. So that is a second scenario. The third scenario is, the current DMK government must go for various reasons, because they are promoting promoting the separatist mindset of the 60s and 70s that they were in. They are promoting that concept several occasions, which means this government should go. And can BJP eliminate this government in 2026? They cannot. So under these three options, the only thing that they have is that, align with ADMK at this point in time, because any alliance under the leadership of BJP in 2026, PMK would not stick to this alliance. Already we will talk about it. PMK, there is a lot of rumbling happening between the father and the son, and then it will get settled soon. That's not a problem. But PMK will not stick to BJP alliance. Only BJP and AMMK with OPS alone would be the factor. Nobody else would be with BJP. In that scenario, it is very difficult for BJP to cross 5% vote share mark, which means it is a decline from what 2024 hype that became that 11.8% party, then it declines to 5%. People will start talking about, okay, remove Amamuka's share. BJP is again 2% party. They're back to square one in 2016. That is going to be the reality. But Annamalai may have his own game plans or ideas and etc. But there is no credible solution on the ground. And hence, central leadership, for all the three reasons put together that I talked about, had to take certain decisions. And that decision had to come far ahead of the election. In fact, if you remember, Sree, about a month back when we talked about this, when we started talking about this alliance in Tamil Nadu in this show, I said by March 31st, the alliance would be finalized and then announced, if you remember that. And then before March 31st, a lot of actions happened. But unfortunately, before March 31st, it could not be announced. And then, it just got announced a couple of days before the Tamil New Year Day by mid of April. So, which is not too far that, deviation. But that was central BJP's mindset, to announce ahead of election, at least a year and a half ahead of election, but at least 1 year ahead of the election, if the election happens in May 2026. And with development, if Nam Tamizhar Katchi NTK also joins alliance or expresses its interest to join the alliance, I'm sure that even before that happens, or when this talks happens, Stalin will announce a snap poll, along with Bihar, because he doesn't want to give time for the realignments to happen. 𝗏𝗏𝗏 𝗑𝗏𝗏 is talking in multiple languages that he is upset with the current alliance, etc. So Annamalai has not been done injustice. Probably Annamalai wanted to keep his personal credibility ahead of the party's stance. That's why he said that if there is an alliance with the ADMK, probably he would want to step down, and then party allowed him to step down gracefully rather than any other actions on it, right? So they allowed him to step down gracefully. I think he has his time. He's too young in the to achieve many things, and he is capable, and he has his time. And whether he will be given a national role immediately, or allow him to cool a bit and then work towards 2026 election campaigning, etc. in Tamil Nadu, and then will be considered. Maybe in 2026 he may be allowed to contest in Tamil Nadu, and then see what happens to it. So many possibilities are there. I doubt that immediately they will take him into a national role. Maybe he will be part of the National Executive Committee for sure. That is a quick option. But National Executive Committee is one among several. So if he has to get a prominent role, then that needs to be worked out. And anyway, the Youth Morcha also, Tejasvi Surya has been the lead for almost 6 years. That also need to come for a change. He may get a chance to succeed Tejasvi Surya to lead that. Some national role is possible for him, no doubt about it. But whether it is going to happen immediately, or whether will he have to wait till 2026 elections in Tamil Nadu to get over, we need to wait and see. I think sooner or earlier, taking him out of Tamil Nadu politics and giving him in the central role is, in my opinion, may not happen, because his campaign may be needed. But it's all the choice between what Annamalai wants to do, because when there is an alliance, he may not want to campaign for the alliance partner, and so BJP is a cadre-based but a party-driven and not a individual icon-driven party, right? So it has to the leadership or anybody cadre has to align to the common goal set by the party. And if Annamalai doesn't want to, I think that's why he has been given an option to step down and then bring a new lead as soon as possible. I think that's what has happened, Sree Iyer ji. It is not an injustice to Annamalai. It is Annamalai's personal choice to step down because he doesn't want to work with the ADMK alliance.
Thank you so much, sir. 1 second. The next topic we're going to talk about is this apex court ruling that the governor cannot hold on to bills for indefinite amount of time, and this was, I think, a case that was filed by the DMK over its governor not approving a lot of orders to go through. Sriramji, is this a new precedent, or were they quoting some established case already?
Sir, I think there has been a prior case with the Punjab versus Punjab state government versus the governor, where they have said that governor cannot hold on to bills indefinitely. There they have not set the timeline or etc. Let's give a brief about what is this case. Governor of Tamil Nadu, Sree Iyer has been approving. There are about 182 bills, if I'm not wrong, or maybe my count may be wrong, that came to his approval, either a resolution or the bills. He had approved almost 165 of them, or 165 or so, barring few of them came in the last few months, leave that, but 165 to 167 he has done. 10-15 bills he held on to it. And of that, 3 or 4 state government withdrew and then did not resubmit. There is one still pending with the president on the NEET abolition in Tamil Nadu. So what happened? There is a 10 different bills where the bills are regarding to. It's not a 10 different, though it is a count-wise 10 different bills. The crux of the bills are the same. Replacing the chancellor of the universities from governor to the CM. The CM to become the chief minister, to become the chancellor of the universities, state universities. That is a bill. It's a single, purpose, but 10 different universities are there, and hence all the for each one of the state universities there is a separate statute that has been drafted, which is pending before the governor. In 2023, governor, when the bill came to him, governor sent it back saying that, quoting that it violates UGC law, and then gave his observations and then sent it back to the assembly. And then assembly reenacted or, did not take into consideration his objections or observation, resent it for approval. And then he held it for some time and then reserved it for president in 2023 almost after the Punjab case was, finalized, or, Supreme Court gave an orders or their observation that governor cannot hold on to the bill indefinitely. He sent it for president's assent. And that is when DMK government went to the apex court and then prayed to, fix a timeline. Okay, that is the background of the case. Now let's look at what does the Constitution say. Article 200 of the Constitution talks about the powers of the governor. Governor does not have many power. Of course, there are certain discretionary power he has when it comes to forming a government after the election. If there are confusions, etc., he has certain discretionary power on that. And when if there is a bill is a money bill, then he has to approve it immediately. He cannot pass his judgment or observations. It has to be approved. But any other bill which is not a money bill, when assembly, or if there are two houses, upper house and lower house, if both the houses passes this bill and then sends it to governor for approval, he has three choices. He has, first choice is to approve the bill. The second choice is to withhold the bill. The third choice is to reject the bill. Withhold and reject are the same in my opinion. So withhold the bill. And then the next choice is send it for reserve it for presidential assent if it violates or if it impacts any of the central government laws, or if it is going to take away some of the powers of the High Court. So there are certain definition on which you can reserve it for presidential assent. Remember, governor cannot reserve it for presidential assent if it is purely a state-related subject, right? Purely a state-related subject, governor cannot reserve it for the presidential assent. So when he sends the bill with observation, withholds and rejects, and then sends the bill to the assembly, and the assembly either considers and then modifies, amends the bill, or without any consideration resends the bill as is, the governor again has only two choices. The one choice is to approve the bill. The second choice is to send it to presidential assent if it falls within the gamut of subject that he can send it to presidential assent. For example, violating a central law, or violating a constitution, or taking away the powers of the High Court, etc., then he can send it for presidential assent. Otherwise, the governor has no choice but to agree and approve. So what is the checks and balances that the constitution has given? So why do they then, governor is needed? So anyway, a state government assembly, when if they are in good relationship with the or if they are a sensible government, let me use that word, if they are a sensible government, they would not have passed any resolution or a law violating or any moral code of conduct, right, in the first place. So any bill will be approved by the governor. For example, there are some flaws that they overlooked or something. When the governor points it out, then they will amend it and then send it back. So that is what our constitutional forefathers thought. They put themselves in their shoes and then said that they framed this Article 200. They never probably did not want to expect a perverted government which will pass certain laws which forces the governor to withhold. So in order to prevent that, any incident that comes to in future, the governor is not given a timeline. They only said as soon as possible. That as soon as possible can be 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 10 years. Okay. So they did not define the timeline that within which they need to pass this bill, because if any government, state government, goes rogue and then sends certain bill and makes the governor to approve, forces the governor to approve, then the governor has the ammunition to sit on this bill until the term of that particular session is over, particular term is over. Because the moment the term of the assembly is over, the bill automatically, unapproved bill automatically becomes void and null and void, and then the re-elected government has to send the bill again, enact a bill and then send it again. So that is why, that is the cushion that the Constitution Assembly gave to the governor to protect any perverted laws to come in. Now Supreme Court has stepped into this. In this case, does it violate any of the law, or is there a conflict between UGC Act, which is a central act, and Tamil Nadu state laws governing this? Yes, there is a possibility that it is overlapping, or it is impacting the central law, and hence the governor has the right to send it to presidential assent. So when it came to second time, governor sent it for presidential assent, but after certain elapsed time. So when it went to Supreme Court, 2-member bench ruled, and this is where I have a problem with the ruling. And then definitely it has to be appealed and contested in a constitutional bench. It's a 2-member bench. It's not a constitution bench. The ruling is by the court is, they first took the legislative power in their hand. They defined there is a constitution clause 142, article 142 gives a plenary power to the Supreme Court to make certain decisions. For example, if any bill is an unconstitutional bill defined passed by both the houses and then assented by the president, and then the court feels that it is defying some of the constitutional principles, then the court can strike down even though it is passed by the parliament. A great example is NJAC, the judicial accountability bill that the parliament passed, and then wanted to the appointment of judges to be considered by the cabinet. Supreme Court rejected it, even though it was not violating any constitutional provisions, but they used their powers to negated, and then they quashed that particular statute as unconstitutional. So that is a bad example of using 142, but still, I wanted to give the viewers some of the actions taken by Supreme Court on 142 using Article 142. In this case also, Supreme Court, in my opinion, flawed by taking 142 in their hands. Number one, they took the judiciary, the legislative power. So our constitution is a three-legged stool, Sree Iyer ji. Number one, there is a legislative power, then there is a executive, then third leg is the judiciary. So legislative is the elected government of the assembly and parliament. Executive is a constitutional positions like the prime minister, president, governor, etc. Then and of course the administration, your Indian administration services, etc. The third is the judiciary. So for each one of them, the roles and responsibilities are defined. So the judiciary, it is a legislative responsibility to promulgate or create a statute. Executive's responsibility to approve. Judiciary responsibility to oversee whether the statute is well within the constitution. So there is a checks and balances created, and interactions between these two or three are created. The legislative power, which is the parliament, approves the president selects the president. President is sworn in by the Chief Justice of India, and Chief Justice of India is approved, or any other judiciary appointment is approved by the cabinet. Then swearing in of the Chief Justice of India is done by the president. So there is a checks and balances that is created between the three-leg stool throughout the constitution. So what did Supreme Court do? They used the plenary powers given to them under 142 and then defined the timeline for these, for the governor to approve. Of course, I don't want to go into much details of for each one of the provision. They're given 1 to 3 months is the maximum time. So according to this, within 6 months, the bill has to be approved. Unless otherwise it is sent to presidential assent within the time frame, right? Say within the 1 month, if the approval has to be given, they need to give, or within 3 months, if it has to be reserved to the presidential assent, governor should reserve it to the presidential assent or send it back with his comments. And if the assembly reenacts and then send, within 1 month, he should approve. He should treat it as a money bill and approve. And that is where they have taken the power of legislation into their own hands. That's a ground for contention. The second ground for contention is in these 10 bills, the apex court said, because this 1 to 3 month time frame is not followed, any action taken by the governor of sending to the president, or the president, if he has rejected the bill, is becoming void. And they actually took the executive power in their hand and then said, we consider the bills as deemed to have been approved by the governor on the date of the second elapse of the 1 month from the second time the bill has been sent by the by the assembly. So 2-member bench, not a constitutional bench, taken the power of the constitution in their hands, taken the power of the executive in their hands, and then approved this bill. I think in this case, the central government has to appeal to the constitution bench. It is not the governor's role. And moreover, there are several governors now impacted by that. There are several legislations which have elapsed because of the governor has not approved. What will happen to that? Because the judge has proceeded by saying that it applies retrospective on these 10 bills, the same thing can be applied retrospective on any bills, even though the term was over. See, even 2 terms before, 3 terms before, if any bill was held on by the governor, then it can become a contentious issue today and then say, go to the apex court and then say, this bill also should be approved because of this judgment. So I think this is where honorable judges have erred, in my humble opinion. And I may be totally wrong because I'm not a constitutional expert, but I'm just reading through the Constitution, reading through the Constitution Assembly's arguments on these provisions. I feel that, Supreme Court could have done two things differently. Number one, they could have directed the central government to amend the Constitution. Maybe they could have given these timelines also, and then said, amend the Constitution, Article 200, by giving certain timelines and protections. And the second is, they could have suggested the governor to approve those bills. Both the powers, if they are taking into their own hands, then we don't need governor, we don't need assembly, we don't need parliament. Everything can be administered by the court. That is using 142 as a guiding principle. Court can govern anything and everything. I think that is where they have erred, in my humble opinion. Central government quickly should appeal this to the Constitution bench, ask the Chief Justice, Supreme Court, to form the Constitution bench to discuss this at length, go through the merits of it, and then Constitution bench can set aside this ruling and probably give a direction. See, a famous case of Shahbanu's case, where the triple talaq, instant triple talaq, was framed as a bill and then approved, and then once again it went back to Supreme Court. Supreme Court upheld the triple talaq bill. There, the Constitution bench did not rule directly. They said, they in fact advised the central government to formulate a statute. But I think that is where the Constitution bench was highly responsible enough to not to take the judiciary in its hand. Legislative powers in its hand. They actually allowed the legislative body to enact. They allowed the executive to approve. And then when it the law came to their own turf again, they upheld the constitutionality of that statute. I think this is where the checks and balances are set by the Constitution. Very thorough discussions happened in the Constituent Assembly for each and every provisions that went into the Constitution. There may be some lot of lacunae, or there are loopholes which are plugged by hundreds of amendments that came into the Constitution, as we have seen, Sree Iyer ji. So this is, I think, I want to leave the audience to think about that. That is why I wanted to take this topic. Even though it is a highly legal and constitutional matter, I want this message to go to them. It is not a Tamil Nadu government versus the governor. That is not what I'm interested in. My point of view is there a constitutionality or constitutional crisis created by this judgment? My humble opinion, yes, it did. Then it can actually open up a Pandora's box and even make the Article 200 defunct, because every other statute will be treated like a money bill if it is sent by the second time. Means the governor approval is just a rubber stamp. There's no checks and balances. Tomorrow, a border state says that, we want to align with something else across the border, or take something else, some other, law, which actually touches the gray areas of the national interest or constitution, and then the governor will be forced to approve this. I think that is where this, this Apex Court order should have taken those into consideration, and then maybe not passed an order here and then asked for a constitutional bench to consider these, rather than taking things on their own hand. I think that is where I find this judgment little amusing.
Thank you, sir. We have a fair amount of questions, so I request you to just touch upon the impact of tariffs for maybe 2 minutes, then we'll go to Q&A.
So the tariff, US tariff war, I have a contradictory opinion to Sree Iyer ji, because Sree Iyer ji, feels that, the tariff increases requirement, etc. Yes, I have no doubt about it. I think the way Trump government has gone towards the tariff imposition is probably haven't thought about the impact, what it would create. I have not created the ground, for this tariff impact. India is going to be least affected by this tariff war, because even if the US government levies that 25% or whatever the tariff that they had imposed, of course, they have paused it for 90 days now. even if India does not slash its tariff, in my opinion, India should not bow down. India should hold their, cards, and then on merits of product by product, merits of it should agree for certain things. For example, what it suits, because some of the tariffs are used for anti-dumping measures. So they don't want certain things to be dumped on them, and hence a tariff on from US is different from tariff from another country. It is a product category basis. Our customs duties and import duties are based on a product category and not origin of the product, and hence that is how we have defined it. Maybe it's a high time for us to define it from origin basis, but still should maintain for the category of products that is going to impact the domestic manufacturing or domestic product. They should hold on to the ground and then not buckle under pressure. Whereas for certain things where it is going to be beneficial for us, we can actually offer. For example, Harley Davidson, we talked about it about a few weeks back about this also. Harley Davidson, it's not going to disrupt any other two-wheeler bikes in the market. Already the price is too high, and then the tariffs are not going to make this competitive. Slashing the tariff is not going to make that product competitive and then kill any of the products in the country that has been manufactured. I think India is pushing for Make in India using the tariff. I think that's a right thing for India to do, and then every country has its own right to do that. So US is actually going to create a ripple effect because of this on the global market. I think the global order is going to change. It is no longer America no longer going to have a dominant force on any of the decisions. I think that's what Trump's decision may be aggression. He thinks that that aggression will force everybody to come to the table and negotiation. And the stupidity of him to say that nations are begging and kissing my ass, I think that's the most stupid thing any leader would say on a public forum, especially when it's a negotiation stage. Actually, he's hurting and the sentiments, and each leader has their own stature in the domestic market. If any of the country that goes for a negotiation table is impacted by that statement by the President of America, we should have avoided that by saying that, because it is a derogatory statement on every head of the country. And then, America does not hold that position at this point in time to call everybody in a derogatory state. I think America will start sinking. I think that's my opinion on the tariff, Sree Iyer ji. Maybe in subsequent week, we can go much more impactful on how it is going to impact on the economy. But I think since paucity of time, I just wanted to mention this in the show, and then we will take questions.
Sriram ji, information that has come to me says that there is a free trade agreement talks in a very advanced state with United States, and there they will do this, dumping, all that stuff is going to be being discussed on a line-wise basis. So that is almost there, I heard. In fact, India might be one of the first free trade agreement signatories with the United States. And there are other things also. For example, I told you, or I don't know if you know this, today the green card wait is 100 years.
Yeah.
So that means you're not going to get it. So something has to be found. A way has to be found so that both sides feel like they come away with a win. So some of these thorny issues also are being sorted out. So just wait for a few more weeks. I think they have given themselves 1st of October to have this thing in place, because free trade agreement, you go line by line or item by item. So it's a lot of stuff. That's all I wanted to say. Yeah. Sir, you wanted to add something? You can go to questions, sir.
This is where what I said is, Singapore Prime Minister mentioned this in Singapore Parliament, that, US and Singapore has a free trade agreement, and then Singapore has a zero duty on anything that is imported from from US to Singapore. But US government levied 10% tariff on Singapore also. This is where I'm thinking, talking about that, the free trade agreement was violated by the US administration. But my main contention is, of course, free trade agreement has to go line by line, category of product wise, everything. That's true, Sree Iyer ji. But the thorn in the, discussion is, a public statement saying that countries are begging and kissing my ass It's a derogatory statement any president should have avoided, especially in this. Imagine tomorrow there is an agreement that India signs with USA. In domestic politics, people are going to say Modi went and kissed Trump's ass, right? Will he take that humiliation? I think that is where a negotiating country, and especially currently US, is not in a position to hard negotiate. They have to go for a soft negotiation, because US at this point in time is 85% dependent on global economies to supply even the livelihood as simple as that, a toilet tissue paper, right? For whatever reasons, they have shifted everything out of their country to the manufacturing. In fact, you would have seen the video, from China, which talks about make America great again. That is a satirical videos that has popped up. But I'm saying that, this is where somewhere, he has acted aggressive. I think Harvard professor gave this, timeline of 2% increase every time, up to 20% tariff and all those. I think the idea was good, but the way it is executed and the aggression shown is where, it is going to push back several nations to hold on to their ground by these aggressive statements. Okay. That's where my opinion about it, Sree Iyer.
Sir, we'll wait and see. Viewers, many of you have kind of expressed your disappointment that Sriramji was saying that the party should go alone and not band with ADMK, and now the thing has changed, and how come Sriramji also has changed his tune? What I would answer, I wouldn't want him to add on this, because there's a circular thing going on and on. What has happened is circumstances have changed. The way DMK is going about, see, viewers, you don't know the stuff that is happening beneath. Anti-national activity, the amount of drug-related stuff that's going on, the way they have done some of these things, it's danger to the integrity of the nation. That's why it's first and foremost nation first, and that's where this is happening. And also, you have to think about one thing: a good leader is also a good follower, and you follow well, and then you go on to become a leader, because then people also will follow you. So there is something there. I'm not quite sure what happened there. I'm sure that will come out in the days and weeks to come. I'm talking about Annamalai, of course. So we'll wait and see. Let's leave it at that, because I know some of you are hurt. This is where the thing. You remember the other thing that Sriram Seshadri said when he announced his candidacy to Coimbatore. He said, "You should not be contesting." That means he's going to be tied down to that constituency. Why didn't you all agree with him at that point? Many of you probably thought that that is right. What we are saying is there are some things that have changed, and the way it is going right now, unless something drastic is done and DMK is stopped, things will deteriorate much worse, get into a very, very bad situation. That's why this is so important. Sir, I just wanted to broadly say this thing. I know we have more agreements and disagreements, and that's okay. Intellectuals are not going to agree on everything, on every topic. Then one becomes redundant, and you don't want that. There's always a viewpoint, there's always a context, and that might not be the same context as yours. So we'll take the questions now, sir.
Sure.
Viewers, I have to take out some which are already covered in this talk. Aditya Raghunathan wants to know, Vanakkam, will ADMK work in BJP's constituency to make sure that BJP also wins? EPS looked very weak on the press meet.
Aditya, I think that's a very good question. The vote transferability that we are talking about in the ADMK is not in a situation to ignore this time. ADMK also has to work towards BJP's win. ADMK needs BJP, BJP needs ADMK. That is one of the fundamental reasons why I was pushing for and talking about this alliance even much, much earlier, starting from January, February timeframe onwards, when this is happening. And then that is why year at least ahead of the election, this alliance is announced, keeping 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗥𝗏 also on the dais, and Amit Shah announced in front of him, not just a unilateral one, right? And ADMK needs BJP one of the stronghold of ADMK is Kongu region. The Kongu region without BJP, ADMK is not going to win as many as they won. In fact, DMK is becoming stronger there. TVK, so a lot of people talked about ADMK could have gone to Vijay. Vijay has any very insignificant presence in Kongu region. Vijay's dominance or the presence strong will be felt strong only between Kadalur and Vikravandi, that 150-kilometer range, about 20 odd constituencies in and around that. Beyond that, Vijay's influence is not significant anywhere across Tamil Nadu at this point in time, as per the ground data that we have. So that is why ADMK also realizes that in their own stronghold, if they had to survive, they need BJP. And they have started losing in southern Tamil Nadu, where southern Tamil Nadu BJP cannot convert seats without ADMK. So both of them have the need now. In northern Tamil Nadu, they need 𝗣𝗂𝗏 or PMK to converge and then win. That's why I'm saying the alliance is still not complete. PMK should stay or 𝗣𝗂𝗏 will come in. Either one will happen to this alliance. The switch will happen. Nam Tamil Katchi will play a major card. And in my opinion, NTK, Seeman will align with this alliance, because Seeman at this point in time considers that he needs a win and DMK should go. Both the things is aligned with. So at least there will be a tacit understanding on the constituency level, if not a major alliance that is stuck. So that's a need of the hour. Like Sree ji said, my opinion is not about EPS or anybody else. It is about a party-to-party alliance. It's not about Annamalai. It's not about 𝗟𝗡𝗏𝗏 𝗏𝗏𝗏. It is about ADMK and BJP, and DMK should go. I think that's a broad area on which my opinions are there.
Sir, Sri Rahulan Gothazan wants to know, would Professor Rama Sreenivasan be a better choice?
Yeah, it's a good question. Yes, definitely Professor Rama Sreenivasan would have been a better choice than Nainar Nagendran, but one should understand the equations of Nainar Nagendran. It's not with the EPS or ADMK background, but also he belongs to that Mukkulathur community. And just look at the parliamentary constituencies. Annamalai in Coimbatore, Pon Radhakrishnan in Kanyakumari, and Nainar Nagendran in Tirunelveli in 2024. These are the three people who crossed the 30% mark. And Nainar Nagendran is not because of, and in Tirunelveli, it is not BJP's base is not there. Whereas in Kanyakumari and Coimbatore, BJP has a very strong base. Whereas in Tirunelveli, it is a personal charisma and influence that Nainar has. And then that is where he crossed the 31% vote share and all. So, and he's an organization person, ground level, booth level management, because he has been there in the Dravidian politics. So he knows how to do the booth management. Viewers, once again, you would be disappointed. I have been talking about in many channels and many places that BJP's booth level management is not there up to the mark, or do not even exist in many booths. You may disagree with that, but that's a reality. Whereas Nainar Nagendran's first priority would be to strengthen the booth level management, working along with the ADMK. So Professor Sreenivasan, once again, is a very nice individual, caste neutral leader, because he doesn't belong to any of the 4 or 5 castes which are dominant in the Indian Tamil Nadu politics. He would have emerged as a caste neutral leader. And yes, that way he would have been a different leadership altogether. But Nainar probably is a need of the hour.
Manoj wants to know, the liquor scam in TN is very big, bigger than Delhi and even in Andhra. Sir, your BJP is not encashing it properly. BJP is very weak in communication. Your views?
I think, you're right. The communication, they should have made this into a huge hue and cry. Imagine now they will subdue this, because, the moment you talk about TASMAC scam, ADMK, your alliance partner, also in the past would have been part of it, but at least now they should definitely take this into account. That's why they need ED to act on it very quickly. We talked about this, when TASMAC raid happened also in this show, that, will ED convert this into a major case? They may or may not, but because sand mining case, we talked about a year and a half or nearly 2 years back in the show. Nothing has progressed beyond that, after that, raid and other stuff. Same with TASMAC. And maybe with, KN Nehru's brother has been asked to appear, but, he fell sick. He got admitted in the hospital. So some things would have to happen here for the BJP to talk about the scam and then pinpoint DMK. So let's hope and wish that, it comes soon.
Last question, sir. Shankar wants to know, do you both foresee stability in the alliance or no last-minute backing out by EPS?
See, in politics, nothing can be promised. But at this point in time, I told you it's necessity is the mother of inventions. In this case, ADMK needs BJP, BJP needs ADMK. May not be BJP, may not need ADMK if their aim is not to unseat DMK, if their aim is not to win seats, but only grow the party is the only mantra that BJP wants to have, probably they don't need ADMK. But when they want that 2029 long-term vision where they want contribution from Tamil Nadu into the parliament, when they want to win certain seats, at least in Tamil Nadu Assembly, and then when they want to unseat DMK, then BJP needs ADMK very badly. Vice versa, for ADMKs to survive, they need BJP very badly. That's why it's a mother of, the necessity is a mother of this alliance, and hence, in my opinion, EPS or anybody will not just deter out of it. Of course, there are going to be certain Twitter warriors, social media warriors who are upset with Annamalai, removal. They are going to talk about ADMK. They are going to put up certain videos in the past, which is, which actually where each one of them criticized each other. That is definitely going to happen. But as a party, I think they will hold on to their alliance at this point in time. And once again, it's a necessity is a mother of this alliance.
Thank you so much, sir. Our viewers will be back again shortly in Tamil, and we have more topics to discuss there. Sir, see you soon. Namaskar.